What is going on? How do I have Emacs set up on Windows? Well, there's a window that has Emacs inside and it has text. Okay. Belongs to tree. Okay. So if blocked by fence, then what? See, this old code about getting rid of trees was not the best. All right, so then here's what we'll say. We'll say clear transmutables make the tree entity the only thing in transmutables. Then hose all the Oh, I forgot to turn my screen on. Sorry. I mean, you guys don't need to see most of that stuff. You guys don't need to see most of that stuff. Is there any estimate on public release? Yes, the estimate is when it's done. When it's done. Okay, so yeah, this is old code that we got rid of, and so here when we transmit, oh, I see. Okay. Actually, this is fine. Okay. So we're going to go array reset transmutables. Found is find manager blocked by fence belongs to the tree. If found and found.entity type is equal to tree, it's no dot there, then what? Array add transmutables found. And okay. Then going back here, if we transmute a frickin' tree, we're going to go for manager by type dot fence if it dot belongs to tree is not equal to wait, I already did that here. I already did it. So we just need this. Boom. Okay. Transmutables is not. Transmutables is not the right kind of array. Find transmutables. We'll just return this. It's fine. Blocked by fence equals false. Oh, is null. Okay, great. The future of game development lies in general GPU compute. Well, I mean, like, what the hell does GPU compute mean? How is that different from just running a program? Like, why can't I just run a fucking program? You know what I mean? Like, why do you have to make it weird? It's data parallel. Okay, so a data parallel program, right? The thing to realize is that it's like NVIDIA marketing to claim that GPU compute is just some completely different thing that you can't ever do except through the grace and permission of NVIDIA's hardware driver. Okay? It's fucking stupid. It's part of the source of all the problems that we have. It's just a program with a lot of threads where there's a small amount of hardware per thread. This is something people have been studying for decades. Calling it compute all of a sudden is marketing. We've had computers doing compute since the 1950s. The language's semantics is different. That's just bullshit made up by NVIDIA. What do you mean the language is semantic? You can program computers in any language you want. Again, you're buying into there's this thing that you do when you start a company is you try to create a moat. You try to trap people into your ecosystem that only you can sell them those things, and that is what they have done, right? That is what compute is. Compute is part of a corporate moat where they convince people that there's a certain kind of thing that is just tremendously different from any kind of programming, and you can only do it with our graphics driver. That's fucking bullshit. Then why SYCL exists? I don't even know what that is. Like, dude, people, there were, professors specializing at this stuff when I was in college at Berkeley in the 90s. All right. This is like, people have been doing this a long time. It's C++ for GPUs. That's what I was just telling you. You were just telling me the language semantics are different. I'm saying you can do things with any programming language. You can compile any language for any Turing complete system. It's just how well does it map and how good of a job did you do compiling it? I'm going to stop arguing about this because you're just wrong. Like, you're not wrong that these things exist, right? These things definitely exist, but like, why do they exist is not, they don't exist because they're the best thing or because they are the way. Like, if you were a benevolent dictator who wanted to make computing go in the best way possible, probably wouldn't be by doing these things. Like, again, it's a very weird thing. And I think this comes from maybe people who haven't been programming that long or something, but like, the fact that something exists, the fact that an SDK exists or a programming language exists or a product exists doesn't mean that that's good or it's not justification of something. People make bullshit all the time. Like, the tradition, the the history of computers is full of decades and decades of all kinds of products and languages and systems, most of which weren't that good of an idea. And after you've been around long enough to see that, then you see the new stuff and you're like, okay, that's probably not that good of an idea. That's just what has been going on. So telling me that somebody made a particular programming language, it's like, okay, it doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't mean anything. All right, so let's switch what level we're starting on. Back to character test. You know what? Let's just do this. Okay. So let us now create a new scenario. Let me turn back my color. I want some highlight color back. All right. So we are now going to do the following. Actually, let's bring this guy back. We're going to put a crystal on his head. And then we're going to have a druid man's, which is like dungeon man's, but different. All right. So, what? Oh, oh no. We have these guys going first. I want this guy to go first. Nope, not one. One. Save. Ready. Okay, so. Now these guys can't get out. Help. Help. All right. Now if this guy comes down here. Actually, okay, no, if he's up here, he should be able to transmute it back. Boop. And everything is the same. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Now the question is, what if he comes down here? Boop. There we go. That is what we wanted to happen. And then, whoops. All right. Okay, well, that was everything that I wanted to do on this stream, aside from argue about CUDA. Okay, wait. How did we end up here, though? What just happened? That was weird. Hold on. Hold on. So we do this. Okay, that's fine. So we do this. We do that. Where are the things? Where are the fences? Are they there and invisible? They are there and invisible. So we're like not doing set mesh on them. But you know what? That's fine because we actually don't want these to look like this anyway. We want them to use probably this mesh. Which is called game prom bar straight C. So now why that doesn't come back in undo, I don't actually know. That's going to give us something else to deal with. So it's weird, they're there. They have all the correct properties. So why are they not appearing? Are they being drawn somewhere weird? No. Are they being... The hell's going on there? I mean, I can set a breakpoint in draw. Let me just see. Yeah, the fences are still there. So if I quit and come back, they still don't appear. That's really weird. But they do appear when we do this. Why? Why? Maybe it's just the visual positions are strange. Okay, so we're going to make a debug build again. Well, we've been running a debug build the whole time, which, by the way, when you run debug builds of programs, they are slower than release builds. For people who don't know that and want to bother me about that. All right. You got to push the frame rate, but why didn't I think about the frame rate button? Okay, hold on. Okay, we're actually going to modify the code because I cannot deal with Visual Studio's very bad breakpoint stuff. Okay. All right. So visual position is 7, 16, 0. Actual position 7, 16, 0. That is correct. Orientation looks fine. No mount data, fine. Mesh is set. Wait. No, yes, okay. Mesh is set to the correct thing. No weird flags. I don't know. Let's just see if we can spot something. Okay, this is all not relevant. I got to figure out what to do about this macro stepping. We don't want to step into that all the time. All right. So let's see what the entity params are. Entity color 0. Effect color 0, but maybe those don't matter? No, guys, don't, oh God. Adding keywords to stuff like FPS, it just fires all the time whenever people talk about the FPS of a random thing. It doesn't actually help. Please don't make Insobot say lots of random noisy things, please. All right. Or I guess if it's a command and not like a auto detect, that's probably fine. I guess the problem is when it just automatically responds to words. Are there plans to make a debugger? I'm gonna make some tea. I kind of want some really good chocolate. I don't have any at home. Maybe today is the day to go on a chocolate run. That's what I'm going to do this afternoon. After this stream, I'm going to go to the chocolate store and get some. Past, I mentioned at the time of release, I didn't know how to make The Witness any better. Has that changed? I mean, there are always parts of the game that I wish had come out a little bit better, and I have some ideas about how to make those better, but, you know, not concretely. It's still approximately the best thing that I knew how to make. You didn't know the U.S. had, well, we import all the good chocolate. For which uses scenarios do I see that an interpreted, dynamic, and GC language can be of real value? Those are different things. Interpreted is a bullshit implementation detail, first of all. It doesn't have anything to do with anything. Dynamic and GC are actually features, right? I think it's fine for people who are not professional programmers, basically, or who are not making, certainly not system software and probably not interactive software mostly. Then it's fine. Unless it's no, even very simple games miss frame rate all the time. Like, you just. All right. Yeah, if what you mean by dynamic is not statically type checked, the answer is that is not good for any application, any ever. I should have hit that point. Even, there is absolutely no case in which not having type checking is better. And again, I've heard lots of stupid arguments to that effect, and they're all wrong. You always want static type checking. Always, 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 always. Always, always, always. If I had to provide scripting language in an engine because I had tons of artists, no, that doesn't make sense. Don't do. You're asking me to validate your personal scenario that doesn't actually make sense and is a bad decision. So I'm not going to do that. No. Why was it invented? Because it's one of the. Why was dynamic typing invented? Because it's one of the things that we tried and it seemed cool at the time, and then people realized later it was a really bad idea. That's why. Like, honestly, like, look, if your metric of how high quality is a programming language is just how few characters do you type, right? Like, how short is the program text, then it seems like a good idea to not have to type more characters to say what the types of things are. That's literally all the thought that went into it at the time, as far as I know. It's not your scenario. Well, it's not my scenario. So it's a pretty contrived scenario, honestly. So I don't. Where did that even come from then, if it's not yours? Others continue to believe in dynamic typing. It is an increasingly small group these days who believe in dynamic typing because it's so obvious that it's stupid. Like, literally even almost all web programmers, well, almost all web programmers who make technical decisions about what system to use understand now how bad it is not to have static type checking. Like, every time I talk to somebody who's senior on an engineering team at a web company, it's like, yeah, we're trying to do as much type checking as possible now. Every company all the time. Yeah, and it is usually something terrible like TypeScript, but that's still better than like straight up JavaScript. So what are you going to do? It's like they don't understand the types are still there. Well, there are arguments that I hear that's like, oh, but you can write code that's more flexible and doesn't have to be pinned down with respect to what type it operates on. But that's never actually true. It's like literally never true. Real code just isn't that way. Okay. So what I see here is that the entity color is 0, which may or may not matter, honestly. Um, Let me just check to see what happens as we step in. And if it turns out, hey, we're on the 1619 project. It's empty. It has no content. Okay. Um, okay, I mean, we add the draw call, so we're clearly trying to draw this thing. So what I want to do is I want to open up the editor version where this is appearing and see if the entity color, I mean, it's kind of grasping at straws, but so these are appearing. And we can do that same breakpoint. Okay. And then we'll go to the 1619 project. Entity color is different. Okay. Well, at a time like this, okay, here entity params is not filled out. So where does that... I guess not yet. Oh, let me pour my tea before it gets too gnarly. Okay. Refresh entity parameters. That is not... Okay, so we make this variable called entity params at some point. Wait, that's... Okay, hold on. When we get to the 1619 project, hold on, 1619 project. Okay, that's a parameter to here. It's whatever the third parameter is. Let's do it that way. Entity parameters, it is called here. Oh, that's a global. Duh. Okay, so when we get here, parameters, entity color has some random stuff from whatever the previous entity was. Wait, are we still in editor mode? Yeah. So hold on. Let's get rid of this. Come on back out. Okay. Here. It's got random things. Refresh entity parameters. So that probably clears this out. Yes. Okay, you know what? We probably just need to set the override color. If I'm being honest, let's just hold on. Hold on. Okay. Maybe that's not actually doing anything. Metal, simple, copper. Why are these made out of copper? Okay. Shader metal. Liquid metal. Okay, so if as the pixel shader okay, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. We still don't see it here, though. We have changed the shader for this thing to always output white pixels. Oh, this could be happening right here. Well, no, probably not, because I need to fix this pool allocator. Okay. There's no other case in which we discard here. Oh wait, is it disable? Why wouldn't it give me an error? Come on, guys. Really? All right. I don't know what to do. I'm just going to delegate this bug at this point. Because I do not see what else to talk about. I really don't want to sit here and debug the graphics stuff, which is, you know, like it's not a system that I wrote and don't totally understand all the details of it. And so it might take me a long time to figure something out that somebody else could figure out quite quickly, right? So, I'm just going to make a recording for someone else on the team, and I'll hand it off. Okay, so I start here on the level character test, and I'm controlling the druid, and he transforms this, and it makes all these root objects down here like in a cage. And when I transform the tree back into a crystal, it removes all of those entities representing the roots. Now I'm walking around, and now I'm just going to undo back to when it was a tree. And it looks like those root entities aren't there. However, they actually are. There's a secret thing you can do if you open the editor and you press Control-Alt-Shift-G. It copies the gameplay state over into the editor, and you see that all those are there. And the weird thing is that they actually render correctly here. Now I went into the draw functions and stepped through, and it is actually issuing draw calls for these. The entity parameters looked a little weird. For example, the entity color was all 0, which it isn't in the editor. It's all 1. But then I went and I sort of hacked around with the shader here and made it output all white and stuff, and they still didn't appear. So at this point, I'm not quite sure what, you know, at this point, I'm generally debugging graphics, and it might be something that someone else can look at faster. The fact that it has to do with undo is a little bit fishy. Like, is there some kind of state that's laying around that's cached that has to do with entity IDs or something, right? If I turn this into a crystal and then back into a tree, we see them again. That's because, you know, we made a whole new set of entities, right? But then if I get to them by undoing, well, that's the old ones before, but there you go again. You see they're not visible. So that is the problem. All right, so I have made that video for the people. Not the people, not the usual people, but the other people. And let's do this. Let's not. have a no check-in already. Oh yeah, that. Good thing I put that. All right. So I will find the video. Okay, so I start here. All right. Okay. Let me go into our very highly secure mode for a minute so I could send this email. Just telling people, here's the video that I made, and okay. Cool. Let's bring back the screen. I know how much you want the screen. Did I finish the Jackass thing? No. I was gonna. The plan was to ship this beta that had the smaller speed up, but the Jackass stuff still disabled, and then do that for the next beta. But then we have something else that we're kind of waiting to get into the current beta. So I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna go. Okay. So I want to go back and debug this thing. Because this has been bothering me. This error message, let's make a new executable, make sure we're up to date. This error message about attempt to set allocators, because it's just spammy to have that in the log all the time, and whoever's doing that, we should just fix that code. Also, it can cause slowness, like if you're outputting that every frame. All right, so was that only when I was editing the shader? I guess it was. So let's go to metal. Put a new line at the end. Save it. There we go. Parse shader. I see. I think I actually might have put in this set allocators call. I don't remember. I remember doing some stuff around here. Okay. This gets set more than once, right? Where does that get used? Shader parser. Wait, what? Why? What is going on here? This is weird because these are like heap allocated. Why are they heap allocated when it's a pool anyway? But then this is not one of these because this has a member called memory pool, which this doesn't. What? Oh, that's on the hash table. Right, that's no. I don't. What is? How is Babby formed? Well, we have this running. We can step, right? So parser tree string pool. What? Like what? What did we get here? It looks like a valid pool with allocators and everything. This is not screwed up memory. So what is happening? This might be a thing where there's multiple declarations of the thing, right? Like, it looks to me like maybe maybe this thing used to have a memory pool member and then it got moved off. Yeah, there's this thing going on. There's like an older version of stuff and a newer version. And we're sort of switching over, but see, this has a thing called string pool. And memory pool. Okay, I don't even know which of these is current. I feel like this is the one that we actually care about. So then what might be going on is the debug info is confused because there are two symbols at global scope called string pool. Right? Something like that. That must be what's happening. Okay. Public code shaming? No, like, look, if you're doing serious fucking engineering, it's really hard. It's hard to make things good. So you write comments where you talk about what the problems are and what is the best way to solve them. That's like, okay, look, if you read this code and you read this comment, you see that there's an issue. If you read this code and there's no comment, then you just think it's fine. Okay. It is stored on tree by value, so I guess this means we reuse tree a few times. And reset tree for multiple parses. The debugger is currently confused. There we go. Okay. Okay. So let's just see what happens there. Allocator is, oh, what is it called? You would think I would know this having written it. Block allocator. Yeah, it's about 15,000 employees. I don't really think the Linus style is optimal for anything. Although it actually honestly is better than some of the recent trends in open source team management. Okay. So if I go save the metal, we now no longer get that error. So we're gonna do a test of a certain kind. Like I'm going to sneeze for a second as well. Just in part making sure that I didn't break the shader parser. Looks fine. Looks fine. Still got to fix this one, by the way. We're going to let that slide, but we're going to run another Benny test in debug build next after we check in to catch that. Because the line must be drawn here. We cannot have that happen.
bad news. Telling the truth can be bad news. Telling the truth can be telling the truth can be good news. Telling the truth is a bad idea. Telling the truth is a difficult problem. Telling the truth is a scary. Telling the truth is a scary predicament. Telling the truth is a bitter herb. Telling the truth is a dangerous tunnel. When you get out of that tunnel, it's a black life ahead. Forget herb. I never heard of a hit that had the word herb in it. Telling the truth is a dangerous. Dangerous. Telling the truth can be dangerous. What? Danger. Telling the truth can be danger. Telling the truth can be dangerous business. Telling the truth can be dangerous business. Why? 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 Telling the truth can be dangerous business because if yourself, you don't know why. Huh? Well, I'm just giving you what the idea is. Telling the truth can be dangerous business. If you don't know yourself, then you don't know why. Oh, is that brilliant? Telling the truth can be dangerous business. Honest and popular don't go hand in hand. If you admit that you can play the accordion,
so we're actually going to run a debug build many test.
But we can't sing our hearts out. And if we're lucky, we'll no neighbors complain.
We're going to do it without the music because it's not going to get that far in. Because we're going to hit this assertion. And I at least want to know what the deal is with that assertion. It may take us a while. It's going to run a little slower. It's going to run a little slower. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It was only about 10% of the way in or something like that. I don't know exactly what level it's breaking on, which is why. Which is why we're running the whole thing. There we go. There we go. Probably is the level that you see on the screen right now, but that level is not Carpet Bomb. It's probably, this is the level before Carpet Bomb. I don't know. Let's see. Set bit I is 4. Count is less than 4. Count is 1. Why do we have a bit array that's 1 long? Evaluate monster gates. Max rooms. 4. Okay, this is related to something that somebody was working on. Wait, it is Carpet Bomb though. What? Wrapping is false. So why is get screen index? All right, it's not about wrapping, it's about. So the camera is mismarked on Carpet Bomb? Is that what we're saying? Like it's weird because when I went to try to run it just on this level, it didn't trip. So it's maybe something about. Can I return from this? What are we doing here? Cam claims to have per screen camera set. Is it like destroyed or something? Entity ID 0. How did we get an entity with ID 0? That doesn't seem good. What if I go here? WTF? This, okay, this is not the one that we're returning. This one also. Fuck. So current camera control. Why are we doing this? So current, why are we lying about what the camera is? Is this on the manager? So this is not doing, it's not switching per screen camera off, even though I think result I mean, I don't even. Why are we doing this? Okay, anyway, even if we are doing this, it should still do it. Exposure. Bloom intensity, radius, FOV vertical, Znear, ZFAR, position ID, look at ID. Scissor aspect ratio is for map overview. Per screen camera. E item O item O, right? So E, I mean, it seems like we're going this way though. I mean, what? Dest is, oh, okay, no, we're going this way. Dest. So we're supposedly putting 0 in the output. Runtime size 1. Okay, so now we do the mem copy. And of course I can't fucking step one step in Visual Studio, so now I can't see the result. So you're 2021, everybody. Okay, that looks like it worked. Okay, so now we come on back up. Now current camera control. Per screen camera is now set to false. So did that somehow... All right, now, so something very complicated is happening. Okay, I think it's because all right. This is not okay. This is not okay. It's not the right way to do this. This function originally is supposed to just tell you what the entity is. Like having a camera control entity is supposed to be separate from having interpolated camera state, and lying about the result from get camera control it's just not, it's not what the rest of the code expects. You can't just do this. All right. Send an email about what the problem is. We're in high security email mode. No Russian hackers can possibly figure out what's on my screen. All right. Have the unfortunate news that the camera control stuff that's been added for interpolation lately is not quite the right way to do it and needs some restructuring. The problem is that get camera control in main assumes that the only reason anyone ever calls this is to do what is it assuming? It's assuming that people call this. Let me put this back on the screen. I don't think we need as high security, so the people can see. Anyone ever calls this is to do camera interpolation related things. Unfortunately, that's not the case, and it is crashing the game on some levels. For example, in Power, get screen index in Power calls get camera control in order to look up values on the entity. To determine whether we are in a multi-room level, get max room, max screens. So does get max screens. But for some reason, having to do with the complication inside get camera control inconsistent, results are called for these two functions, and then we end up trying to set data for screens that do not exist. We could just debug that point issue, but it's not the way to do it. The camera control is meant to be a thing that is instantiated in the world by whoever is building the level, making up fake ones and returning them regardless of who is calling is a really bad idea and is going to lead to a very buggy game. All this said, what do I want to say here? I want to say, um, I am not sure why we I am not sure why it is implemented this way. Things are implemented this way, the way I had done it before, which already had camera interpolation, though for fewer parameters, used a different struct camera to store those interpolated parameters, right? Like, so as to avoid ambiguity, I understand the temptation to use the whole camera control when there are more parameters, but this is maybe more confusing. And since we did meta programming for this anyway, we can just generate a struct containing only the interpolated parameters and use that in camera or something. This is more confusing because there are many members. There is a lot of other entity data in camera control too. Though that's not really the bad part. The bad part is bad part is changing the nature of get camera control to something it was not meant to be. Oh, by the way, well, and also adding a totally separate method of interpolation, because now we have two totally different interpolation systems that operate on different data structures completely. Right? Unless that got changed. Let me see. For Zoom, and this makes it seem very likely that they will ever get unified simplified or even operate smoothly with respect to each other. I had expected originally that if we wanted to add more parameters to camera interpolation, we would just add those to the existing interpolation system. It is the simplest thing. That doesn't look like it's how it went, but it seems like we need to change this unless there is a good idea to keep it the way it is. All this said, the particular reason why Power was calling get camera control doesn't to figure out if we are in a multi room level or not is now an error prone way of representing that data. What if different cameras conflict about this? So I am going to run a data conversion on the whole game to move this Boolean to the settings entity, which should reduce the chances which should eliminate the chances of a mix-up in this particular case. But generally speaking, we just don't want to be doing interpolation the way it is happening right now. We just want to be doing this second layer of camera interpolation the way it is happening right now. Okay. Okay, so that was a long email. I hope you all had fun in chat while I wrote the email. Movement init. Where's that? I'm sure that was like 20 hours ago. Oh, in camera. Let's see. Yes. Yeah. We could do that. It's just a random thing. Okay, so you really need BMP? Why? Why do you need that? I don't think there is such a file. We don't have a file called that, sorry. We use STB image to load bitmaps, and that is already shipped with the compiler. You do not need us to do it. Okay. Character movement. I don't know why these are variables anyway. Okay. Like why? Those are on world. You know, the comment might be wrong now. Yeah, the comment's actually wrong. It's old. Because we didn't used to rotate those axes, and now we do. We rotate them per frame. So it's just we delete the comment. Okay. I want to now do this thing on settings. Per screen camera, scamera. Let's do this. And this is in version 10. We're going to upgrade this pupgrade to version 10. And I would not get money. I don't know. I might get money if I put some function called send money to developers of the compiler, right? I could put that function in the standard library and then you would call it and it would mine Bitcoin and send it to me, right? That would be pretty good. It'd be a good way to get money. Okay, so we have this on the settings, and I'm going to go to the camera control. I'm going to go version 16, and that goes 1 to 15. Okay, and then we're going to go to developer commands, and we're going to go fix up all levels. per screen is false. Per screen or equals it dot per screen camera. Settings is get settings manager per screen camera equals per screen. Right. I think we don't. Oh, the update gates. Okay. Wait, what? That's not going to do anything anyway, because nobody would have. I don't know. I don't understand. I don't know how to program. Okay. So we run this fix up all levels command. Oh, it's because we called this from here. Let's do this. Yeah, let's do it like that. Update per screen camera. So we could make this a command that we test on one level. No, you know what? It's just going to work. That's fine. So if anybody is marked per screen camera, we just grab that and go. And let's make a release build and run it on the whole game. Oh, we could also there was a old FOV vertical. Yeah, we're going to want to delete this as well. So let's make sure we save out all camera controls. Whoops, what am I doing? I'm going to put a no check in there because I want to make sure that that error does not fire. Okay. Please tell me how I don't know how to program. It's easy. I just never totally figured out how to program. Anyone can do that. It's pretty easy. Anyone can do that. Was that V1 to 15 meant to be commented out? Where? Where? Oh, whoops. Absolutely not. That would be really bad. Thank you. That would have been bad. Now it is merely not so bad. So we're just going to run this. We're going to run it on every level. And at the end of the day, we will have modified something like I don't know how many draft levels there are, but probably 1,200 entities or something because they're all camera controls. Something like that. And we can go check some of them. What was that non-integer position stuff that was happening? That didn't look good. Okay, so I want to go to the log that we just made, and I want to look for this tried to set a per screen camera, and it never happened. So that's great. Just wanted to make sure about that. What cameras did we modify? Let's see that. A lot of them. 3,000, I really underestimated. Oh no, because it's not just the cameras. Or sorry, we save all the cameras and the settings entities. And there's at least one of those on every level. So there's a settings entity. We just upgraded the version number. We just took out per screen camera. Or no, added per screen camera. Let's go to promised one, which we know has a per screen camera. Okay, we have 3 things. So it's 2 camera entities probably, and then a settings entity. Per screen camera, true. Boom! Look at that. It's the power of automation. And this, the whole entity got upgraded just to be a little bit. We got rid of all our zeros, really. Which is fine. Okay, now the reason, there's a couple things I wanted to do there. Okay, now, going back to power here, per screen camera. Diffing settings that per screen camera return 1. So we don't actually look at a camera entity here at all, which is good. Okay, this should fix our problem that we had. Okay, so do we use isMulti? Is multi-screen level, yeah. Okay. Get max screens. Who else uses this value per screen camera? Nobody there. Okay, so I'm going to go on to entities. And theoretically, I just modified all the camera controls, but people might have. I don't know. So this, no, you know what? Nobody's got anything that old. So we're going to get rid of that. That's just this old hack or this old thing. We're going to get rid of that. The compiler is going to complain and we're going to fix it. And then we're going to go deprecated there so that nobody really looks at that. Okay. So we're going to get a couple complaints. Probably quite a few, actually. So here we want to get the settings, right? Okay, we still have this. Okay, update light color. Like, this was a very sloppy thing to do. I probably wrote this, and it was back when it was just like, let's just get the game booted and running. But you don't want that. All right, update light color. Okay, I'm glad we did this feature last night because, you know, it's fine. All right. So we're calling, was it update light color? Yeah. If X must have an else block, that's fake news. That is fake news. That's how you can tell we didn't do a release build. Fake news. Okay. Jump to gameplay camera. Okay. Oops. Refresh viewpoint parameters. Like that is literally the only time that we ever use that variable. Okay, so now people are upset because they're calling the wrong thing. Wait, did I not replace the whole? Hold on. Hold on. Nope, I did. Okay, more calls of this. Render frame 1144. Why are we doing the same thing all the time? Should you call this a lot? Sure do call this a lot. All right, back to this. So we don't need cam here. Let's just try that. All right. Back here. So many of these. I guess it's one per every kind of pass in the game. Okay, do we get settings? What is this variable called camera as well? What is happening here? Haha, now the function that I used to do this is now no longer correct because it doesn't exist anymore. All right, now this part, this old FOV part, this is just, you know, like I said, code that I'd wanted to get rid of for a long time. It was like I just changed the meaning of the variable. So all right. Oops. Hey, we're back to an executable. Question is, does it blend? Will it blend? Shall it blend? Has it blended? And we're already hosed. We are already hosed. What did I do wrong? The most likely guess is, oh, because we have stuff in the undo buffer that has the old things and I deleted the members. I'm just going to roast it. I'm just going to roast the undo buffer for everybody. I do that sometimes. Who uses that? All right, so for now, yeah, we're locked in. Yeah, so basically I deleted some members from the entity and I was like, it's not going to matter because we just upgraded them all. But if it's in the undo buffer, then, you know, that's a whole thing. So here we go. We are now wandering around the world. Mr. Streamer, I recognize frame rates. Okay. I mean, it looks like it's working. So what I am tempted to do is run the Benny test in debug mode. Not a full Benny test with music and stuff yet, because I just want to see us not do that assertion. And I also want to see us not do like other assertions, you know, that we might have introduced with this tomfoolery. I mean, they're not moving fast enough to generate the music, right? It would be very slow music at this rate. This is like JavaScript speed right here, except not even. This is only 10x JavaScript speed. 100x JavaScript speed? I don't know. I feel like we might have got there by now. Let's go to the log. Carpet bomb. Wait. Is that the newest one? We can't have like literally just done it, right? We did. It was literally the last level that we had checked. I am literally shaking right now because it means we fixed that problem. Okay, let's do a release build. You cannot grill sausages in this game. Unfortunately, we have not mastered the technology of sausages. All right. Any questions about what we've been doing? Assuming that this passes reasonably, the next step is just to check it in, and then it's probably lunchtime for me, honestly. What was the bug really? I mean, okay. There were two things going on, right? One of the things going on was that, you know, someone on the team had been writing camera interpolation code, but the way it was being done was substituting in a function that didn't want interpolated values, I guess, but more to the point, it was important that the return value for those use cases be very simple and unambiguous and not the result of some complicated process, because it's just those functions literally just wanted to know, is this a multi-screen level or not, right? So one thing is that interpolation code had caused a problem because it was messing with the values. However, it was already the case also that the way that we were telling if it's a multi-screen level by calling that function was a little too complicated in the first place. Like it was just, again, a historical path dependency. That value used to be stored on camera control. Now it is stored on settings. It used to be stored on camera control. Then we added more camera controls to each level and whatever, and you would have to keep them in sync. And what if you don't? And what if you get back different cameras based on the result of that function? It's just, there's no reason for that. So I put it on the settings entity and revamped all the data to like copy the right value there. Oh man. This is a different level though. We're probably not going to be able to see. Let's see if we can see. How is the music going when people aren't still cranking? So it's, yeah, we're not going to be able to see the thing. Okay, we'll look at this later. It might legit be a different bug that's been exposed by these other bugs and stuff. Like it's hard to say. All right, we're back to your regularly scheduled program. So, yeah, we're going to want to make the camera interpolation simpler. Like, it got more complicated recently because, well, previously when we interpolate cameras, it was only a couple of things like the orientation and the position. And that goes back to a long time ago when like there wasn't a lot more to a camera than that, maybe FOV, right? And then, you know, once we revamped the renderer, we added all these tone mapping things, like, I don't know, you can look up what all the tone mapping parameters are, but like exposure levels and like what kind of ramps do we apply to the colors and stuff, right? And those things, you kind of want to set differently. Like if you have an upstairs of a level and a downstairs and they're lit differently, then you want maybe different parameters. And if they change discontinuously, like you just snap from one camera to another, you're going to see that when you're playing the game, like the colors are all going to change in a way that probably should be more continuous than that. This fog clearing doesn't seem to play super well with fast time Benny mode. Or maybe it's something else, but the sharp edges there don't usually happen. Like, yeah, you see how it's still clearing very slow? So it's just not, it's not hooked up to the Benny time situation. Probably because it's happening on the GPU and the speed factor is not getting pushed to the GPU or something.
Telling the truth can be bad news. Telling the truth can be
How are we all the way here? I wasn't debugging for that long, was I?
Telling the truth can be good news.
We must be almost done, hopefully.
Telling the truth is a bad idea. Telling the truth is a difficult problem.
You couldn't understand how the source could be debugged in Visual Studio. Again, this is a problem that was solved in the 1970s or even the 1960s, guys. We've had cross-programming language debug formats since before any of us were born.
When you get out of that tunnel,
This is old technology.
Forget herb. I never heard of a hit that had the word herb in it. Telling the truth is a dangerous. Dangerous. Telling the truth can be dangerous. What? Danger. Telling the truth can be dangerous. Telling the truth can be dangerous business. Telling the truth can be dangerous business. Why? Why?
Okay, so that mostly worked.
Why? Telling the truth can be dangerous business. Because if yourself, you don't know why. Huh? Well, I'm just giving you what the idea is. Telling the truth can be dangerous business. If you don't know yourself, then you don't know why. Oh, is that brilliant? Telling the truth can be dangerous business. Honest and popular don't go hand in hand. If you admit that you can play the accordion, no one will hire you in a rock and roll band. But we can't sing our hearts out. And if we're lucky, we'll no neighbors complain.
And then this other one was Thief Dragger. And it looked like we had gone from here to here, and that had caused, there we go. Okay, let us see what is going on. Room index 7. Max rooms 8. What does this compensate for -1 bullshit? So what's going on here is there's probably an off by 1. Oh, because we used to return -1. But we don't return -1 anymore. We do not. Okay, I'm going to make this a separate change. This has to get cleaned up now. In the meantime, we're just going to commit this massive thing of all these other things. Okay. I probably have some shader edits that we don't want. I don't see them. Hopefully we Roberta Williams that. All right, so this is just put her screen camera on settings instead of camera control. Okay. If this actually completes. Please. There we go. Okay. That is done. That is done. This compensate for -1 clearly was not. I think we just say how many screens are there. Where was that note? The compensate. It's in Sokoban. Oh, but wait. -1 means out of bounds. I see. But yeah, that doesn't, like, we shouldn't add one here. Yeah, this is only called from 2 places anyway, which is fine. I think the cleanest way to do this is have that function just tell you how many screens. And then, right, so get screen index can return -1. To return out of bounds. Okay. That is why we're adding one here. So this needs a +1. Oh, wait, this is already, okay, wait, this is already, I spelled it wrong anyway. That's already +1 from here. Okay. We need +2. It shouldn't be called max rooms. Yeah, because we are 0 based, so 0 means 1 bit +1, then +1, another +1. Okay. Number of room indices. Number of room bits. Let's just call it number of room bits. Number of room bits. Yep. Okay. And it took a long time. So this has kind of been wrong for a while, but we didn't notice that it's wrong because the bit array, like the for expansion on the bit array didn't check. Or actually, no, that wouldn't have to do with this. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to go back to these levels and try it. And then we'll do another Benny test. So we do this. Level thief. Dragger. Dang it. I still messed up. Why did I still mess up? It shouldn't be this complicated. Okay, so room index. That's the thing about this. It's like more tightly packed than a lot of levels, so you can end up at the maximum index. So number of room bits. Why do we not know this value? What is going on? All right, hold on. Let's just start on this level because we might not actually need to go to the previous level. Actually, we will start on that level, I think, right? Hold on. Let's just make sure we're fresh here. I think we already had done that, but we're making sure. We're going to start from the debugger so we don't have to open it. I don't know why we couldn't see those variables. Yeah, okay, we're on the right level. Yeah, so we don't even need the other level to repro this. Wait, what? Oh, we're in the wrong, okay. Maybe Visual Studio was getting confused about the debug files. That was a release build debugger. Type numer, N-U-M-E-R. It didn't do anything. All right. So room index is 7. Number of room bits is 8. Okay. This is just kind of wrong then. So, okay, if I go to 2346 there, I'm just going to copy this off, right? And so num screens x times num screens y, right? Wait, we shouldn't need, okay, I lied. We shouldn't need that first +1 then, actually. Okay. So really, this doesn't return the max index. It returns actually the number of screens. So it's already got that to account for. So, or a counted for. So we're going to say assert room index is less than max screens. And that is going to go off for some reason. And then we're going to figure it out. Already? Really? Keep typing the same thing. All right. Well, we're going to do this. If it's greater than or equal to, then we will do the same thing again. right. And y, it's so we could just put a breakpoint right here and step in. Okay. Well, so Sx times Sy is 36. Max screens is what? Oh no, that's squares per screen. Sorry. Sorry. Yeah, that's the wrong thing. Okay, this num screens X and num screens Y is not correct. See, this is rounding down. See this? Okay. So get max screens. Is here we go. Sx is the okay. Per screen info is not even a thing. Okay. Let's try that. Okay. And ta-da. Okay. Let me commit this. This thing. I didn't put a no check-in on here. All right, we're going to do yet another Benny test. It is the day of Benny tests. All right, we made things less janky. That is good. That is good. Let us pray that we are now assert free. Third time today? Fourth time? I don't even know. I don't even remember. We just gangsta. We just keep on Benny testing. All day, all day. Too many Benny tests inflate the Benny economy. Oh no! The Benny economy. We can't ship this to end users because Nintendo will probably sue us because they patented this whole thing about how games can just tell you the answer to everything. Any questions about what we were doing today? Because I think this is looking good so far. As soon as this finishes, I will be going to lunch at the lunch place. I'm going to the lunch store to buy lunch. Go to the lunch store. Don't for oh yeah, the chocolate. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be real good. Chocolate situation. Is there any actual reason not to ship developer tools in a game? Yes, there is. Wait, we finished so fast. It's not even dangerous business yet. How did we finish that fast? Way less stuff failed? Okay. GG's.
Telling the truth can be bad news. Telling the truth can be bad news. Telling the truth can be telling the truth can be good news.
Okay, I'm going to tell someone about this.
Bad idea. Telling the truth is a difficult problem. Telling the truth is a scary. Telling the truth is a scary predicament. Telling the truth.
Get Max Screen's problem. The implementation made a mistake in that integer divides round down. So if there is a partial screen amount in either direction, returned a value that was too low, but
Why? Telling the truth can be dangerous business because if yourself, you don't know why.
So it could return something that was out of bounds.
Dangerous business. If you don't know yourself, then you don't know why. Oh, is that brilliant?
I fixed this just by transplanting some code. Transplanting.
If you admit that you can play the accordion, no one will hire you in a rock and roll band. But we can't sing our hearts out. And if we're lucky, we'll no neighbors complain.
The difference, to round up, you just add n-1 before the divide. This is a standard thing when dealing with integers kind of situation. All right. Cool. Cool. All right. I think that's it for now. Are we planning on doing a blog? Nobody reads blogs anymore, man. I don't know. Like I stream so much. Why does there need to be a blog? Yeah, so we solved some problems today. That's good. Now I'm going to solve the problem of having lunch. And we'll see what happens next. That's right. Oh, is Andy streaming? Hold on. Let's see. Is he in the software and game development category? Yes. All right. Well, Andy came by and rated us the other day, so we will kick it back. All right. We'll see y'all later. Have a good rest of your day and all these things.